All right. Anyway, every linear equation. Oh, that's weird. Every linear equation can be written in slope-intercept form, right? Which one of these is the slope? Negative 38, right? Now, sometimes in these questions, the slope will be represented as a negative, but the answer is actually a positive, right? Okay, so for example, Rachel's a stunt driver. She's escaping from a building that's about to explode. Exclamation mark. Thank goodness. We got to get out of the building. Rachel's distance remaining as a function of time is represented in this equation. All right, so she has 220 meters left to go. How do I know that? Right, what's this? That's the y-intercept, right? A y-intercept, if it were a graph, it would look like this right here, starting at 220. And then why is this number negative? Why is the slope negative?
Because you're working down, like as you keep going, you're getting closer and closer. So 220 is going.
Right. What's she doing? She's escaping the building, right? This is the distance that she has left to leave, right? This is the distance she has left to go. When she is out of the building, her distance will be 0, right? So it's going down. So what's her speed then? Well, her speed is 38. Speed is a rate of change, right? But we wouldn't say that her speed is negative 38. Speed, when you say it that way, speed is always positive, right? If they talk about velocity, velocity has a direction. Velocity would be negative. But speed is the rate of change here, right? So there's your y-intercept. There's your slope. A lot of these questions work like this. How about this one? A charity organization is having a fundraiser. P represents the profit. Negative profit means the expenses exceeded the income. All right. So there's a question on the assignment for you guys today that I'm going to do here in a second that talks about profit. All right. If you have a business and gee whiz, I'm trying to set this up. If you make no money, like let's say you bought a bunch of stuff so you can sell it and you sold just enough to break even, then you made no money. Your profit is 0. This is called the break even. Any money that you make past your expenses, and expenses are what you buy. So let's say I went up this much. This is your profit, right? Let's say you lost money. Or let's say you bought a bunch of stuff so that then you can sell it, right? These are your expenses, right? Anything that you lose on is a cost. So anyway, profit is everything you make past 0. So in this situation, P represents the fundraiser's profit. A negative profit means the expenses exceeded the income. What are the expenses of the fundraiser? 15 hundo is correct. How can you tell? Well, there's 2 ways you could think through this. You start off with a bunch of stuff that you bought to make this fundraiser look really awesome, right? You bought a bunch of food. Maybe you hired somebody to come in and speak. That costs money. So you already start with negative $1,500. Those are your expenses. And then every ticket you sell for how much money? Can you tell from the equation? You sell each ticket for $70, and then eventually you break even, right? And then everything after that that's profit right here. Profit is everything after the break even. All right, so you'll have one of those questions here today. All right, here's the new assignment. I want you to watch with me. These are kind of tricky. It's not just one way to do these. All right, so a big cruise ship dropped anchor off the Caribbean island Antigua. A heavy anchor dropped into the water at a rate of 2.5 meters per second. After 45 seconds, the anchor was 40 meters, blah, blah, blah. Here's the first question. From what height was the anchor released? Okay, see if you can come up with this answer right now. I'm going to pause this. Ready? All right, so first of all, I would say this. Instead of actually answering this question first, I'm going to do this. I'm going to erase something from the question. Tell me what these two things here, the 2.5 meters per second and 45 seconds, what can those two things alone tell you?
It can tell us how far the anchor has moved from what total.
Bingo, right?
So then we can
If you know that it moved 2.5 meters for every single second and it dropped for 45 seconds,
multiply together and figure out how far it dropped.
so if you multiply those, 2.5 times 45, that tells you the thing dropped. Here's my ship. It's going to be awesome. Draw a picture. That's good. Anchor drop. How far did it drop in total? What was that number again? 112.5, right? Where did it end up, though? So we know that this much, it's kind of like the break even I just did. Kind of like it. Obviously, it's a ship. This is minus 40, right? Or actually, I'll just say this. It's 40 meters below the surface, right? The question is, from what height was it released? So all you're trying to figure out is this little part here. So if you know this much of it's 40, my picture is not to scale. I'm sorry. Yeah. The leftover bit would be that. So we just took 112.5 minus 40. Second question. How long did it take it to reach the surface? How long did it take to reach the surface? Well, we know that it took 72.5 meters. That's how long the distance was from the release to the surface, right? So 72.5 divided by a certain rate of change can give us the time. 72.5 divided by 2.5, 29. Yeah, it's a nice slow anchor drop. Nice and
They
easy.
didn't just throw it, they were like low.
Super heavy. We don't want to make a big splash. That sort of thing. Let's do one more of these. Okay. Jada has a stand in the marketplace where she sells ground cumin. Her weekly expenses are $300, and she sells her cumin at a fixed price per kilogram. If she sells 120 kilograms of cumin, her weekly net profit is $600. Net profit. Expenses are $300. Right? Now let's watch. Here's the graph I just drew a second ago. Weekly expenses are $300, right? So she's starting down $300. Why is that? Well, she had to go buy some so that she could sell it at a higher price, right? There you go. She ends up making $600. So she ends up way up here, right? That's her profit. How much did she actually sell? $900. She sold $900 worth of stuff, right? If she spent $300 to buy this and she ends up making a profit of $600, she goes to the marketplace to sell it. She has $900 in her cash register, right? Or whatever the heck you want to call it, cash box. 900 compared to the 300 she bought it for. She ends up with 600, right? She doesn't actually sit there and start the day with negative $300 in a cash box, right? That doesn't make any sense, right? She made 900. Now, if that's the case, if she sold $900 worth of goods, she sells 120 kilograms. This tells us how many dollars per kilogram right here. So one mistake on this one most people make is they'll take 600 divided by it, but that's not true, right? So anyway, 900 divided by 120. Okay, how much does Jada have to sell to cover her weekly expenses, to cover it? So what we're talking about is the break even. This is what I referenced a second ago. In order to break even, she has to sell $300 worth, right? But we're asking the question in kilograms. So $300 divided by the number we just found per kilogram. That's 40. I think it's a spice. Okay.
Used it.
I don't know. Anyway, there you go.